Sweet. So this training is called How to Fix Any Bottleneck in Your Business in Less Than 90 Minutes Using Simple Airtable and GoHighLevel Systems. And in this training, what you're going to learn is how to diagnose your bottleneck in your business super freaking easily. So you can hyper focus on putting the system, people, processes in place to overcome that bottleneck. Now, one thing that I want to mention is that when you're going from like 0 to 30K per month, really a lot of the work is on you. But after 30K per month, it's all systems and team and putting those things in place and developing a lean team of A players. So you maximize, number one, profit and scalability and win your time back. Where I see most people, especially in the coaching agency space, not scale is because they don't develop their hiring and system skill set early on enough so that they can scale past those 100K, 200K, 300K, $1 million months, right? So the issue in the industry right now, especially when it comes to coaching, is that they're teaching us how to become more of an employee than an actual CEO and business owner. So what I want to share with you guys today is, number one, developing the mindset of the CEO and the business owner instead of just being the employee. And when we're scaling from 0 to 30K per month, a lot of it is that putting in the effort, the hustle, the grind, whatever you want to call it, and figuring out your messaging and your offer, and finding that product market fit, especially in the coaching industry that's aligned with your own story. I've had way too many conversations with people, my God, where they're in the coaching industry, their offer's not aligned with their story, or agency owners that pick a niche that they freaking hate. And that's our heartbeat of our organization, is the offer. So it's super crucial to know that it's going to suck at first, but you're going to build so many skill sets and you're going to become such a more powerful person at first. And then over 30K, starting to put on that CEO hat. But all of these frameworks and methodologies will help you very early on. And going through this is the number one skill set that you can develop in your business, is thinking like a CEO. So we don't become employees, we become CEOs of our business. And you guys are going to get the juice, get the goods right now. So if that sounds good to you guys, hashtag juice in the chat. And I'm not starting until we get 3. You can say, juice me, Andrew. I think that's a good phrase. Juice. Love it. Got one from Lauren. Okay, sweet. They're coming in. Alexis, Amy, amazing. Cool. And we're going to go into the Airtable systems and the GoHighLevel systems. One thing where I see people screw up at all levels is they don't automate enough. And there are a lot of simple automations that can be put up in Airtable GoHighLevel that will save a shit ton of time. And at the end, I'll go through my number one secret for productivity. So stay around for that. Sound good? We got juice from everybody. I love it. Give me the juice. Amazing. Cool. So Amy talked about it. Boom. One framework that I want to share with you guys that I heard like 4 years ago at a conference that's always good to remember for business and life is our vision drive our goals drive our planning, and our planning drives our execution. So just remember that the 4 tiers. Number 1, vision, goals, planning, execution. So most business owners do not have a super tight vision, mission, purpose, and they can't attract A players onto their team if they don't have a clear vision of where they're going and being able to articulate that. So in our vision, in our life, in our business, have a super clear vision of it. Where are you going to be at in 3 years? Where are you going to be at in 10 years? Especially in business, what is your marketing department going to look like in 3 years? Your sales department, your offers, what publications are you going to be in? Why are you doing what you're doing? What is the mission of it? All of that. So also, when we have a clear vision, it lights our brain up with dopamine because it's the pursuit of pleasure molecule. So one of the simplest things that we can do to motivate A players to come onto our team and stay on our team is having a really powerful vision. And there's a biological and psychological component behind that where you're driving more dopamine in people's brains. So they're more motivated and more focused and want to stay around longer, right? So when you have a clear vision, 3 years, 10 years, 3 years is ideal to make it crystal clear. That's usually the ample amount of time. I did a workshop with Jennifer Hootie 4 years ago, and she used to do this thing called Vivid Vision. There's also a book called Vivid Vision if you want to look that up. And in that workshop, we nailed down what the offers are going to look like, the department's going to look like, all of that stuff in 3 years. So if you're looking to refine that business vision, I would look up the book Vivid Vision, and the guy who wrote it is kind of slipping my mind right now. So our vision drive our goals. So where are you going? Like, what are your tangible number goals for the next 3 months, 1 month, 1 week? And what are the tasks that you're doing today to achieve those goals, right? Your planning are your projects. So what are the projects that you need to have in place in order to hit your goals? So if my goal is to bring in, let's say 1,000 new leads this month, new traffic, my project might be launch a new ad campaign with a new funnel, right? If I'm starting out and I just want to nail down my offer, one of my goals for the month might be sell 5 spots to a 3K offer. Then my project would be how we teach it with offer creation. We just teach you create this Google document and then tap into your warm network and start selling. And then we have some tips and tricks around driving traffic organically, which I've been doing for the past 7 years. So that's a little example of goals and planning. And then execution. What's my daily winning formula to ensure, number one, in business, I hit my numbers. Number two, in my life, how I feel my best. Some mind, breath work, meditation, exercise. If I do those 3 things on the personal side, journaling, if I do those 4 things every single day, I feel my best and I act my best. And inside of Airtable, I have a really simple tracker of my daily winning formula, right? If you don't have a daily winning formula, create one. And if you want the support on creating one and doing it in the best way possible, I can share something with you guys at the end on that little offer. Also in execution, make sure that you're clear on the tasks that you're doing today. So, man, people are not intentional with their lives or their businesses. If we just take 5 minutes every single day to identify what are the 3 things, if I get these 3 things done today, I will be successful. That will be success for me today. That's a really awesome place to start, right? So with execution, for you, if you have team members, just getting them into the habit of having a daily winning formula for their business, also for their life would really help too. And also having them identify what are the 3 critical needle movers that if I get these 3 things done today, it's a success. When we have these big tasks lists and we don't identify the 3 biggest things every single morning, we're kind of shooting blind, right? Other things that we can get into is time design, time blocking, that sort of stuff. My God, if you're not optimizing your calendar and living by your calendar, start doing it. We have plenty of trainings on it inside of our programs. time is what we want most, but what we use worst, right? And when I started doing this about 4 years ago, I hired this guy named Spencer Burnett, who is one of our seven-figure CEO clients. He did everything around operations and productivity and that sort of stuff. And we helped him develop a 50K offer, and I was the first one to buy into it. And he trained us and our team on time design. And what I've found from using my calendar and living by my calendar is number one, I'm more present for my girlfriend and my loved ones at night because I have a time block for relationship time. And then I don't have to think about work. This is my time to just focus on relationships. And there's a psychological trigger in our brain when we're either saying, okay, for these 2 hours of deep work, I'm just focused on my new VSL and I'm not going to look at my phone or do anything like that. Then we hyper focus on it when it's on the calendar, right? We're just like, oh, maybe I'll do it, whatever. We don't actually get that deep work time in. Or when we have relationship time on our calendar, then we're like, okay, cool. This is time to connect with my wife, connect with my husband, connect with my girlfriend. I don't need to think about work. And it helps our bodies better refresh so we can execute better the next day, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? Cool. So that's a high-level overview of how to think backwards from the end result. What's the vision for my life? What's the vision for my business? What are my goals? What's my planning? What's my execution, right? That's how we live our life and build our business by design instead of by default, right? Cool. Helpful? Cool. If you guys get takeaways in here, just pop them into the chat. Helps everybody learn. Everybody here. So let's get into the business value chain. So there are 6 steps in the business value chain. And I learned this back in 2018 in Scott Olford's $100,000 Project Nuclear Mastermind. And I was like, whoa, business is much simpler than what I was making it. So put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of the business value chain, a variation of it, or put a 2 in the chat if this is the first time you've heard of this concept in this framework. We're calling this think like a CEO, not an employee. Cool. So we start with the 4 tiers and then we're getting to the business value chain. All right. Cool. Juice, Amy, Alexis, Denise. Okay, I hope this breaks your brain in a good way and makes business a lot more simpler for you. So business value chain is how we diagnose bottlenecks in our business, right? So there's the value chain, and then I'm going to get into one of the most important concepts after I go through this. So in any business, agency, coaching, physical products, selling Coca-Cola, anything, everything goes through these stages, right? So first, we need to get awareness. New eyeballs on our business and what we do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where most business owners fail, and especially people starting out, is not getting enough awareness and eyeballs on what they do, and number 2, not making it sustainable. So people talk about cold emails, cold LinkedIn, all of that stuff. You can get a quick win here or there, but it's not sustainable because the next stage is how you make it sustainable, right? You're not generating mass attention when you're doing everything cold. And usually it's the crappy kind of attention where people say, shut up or don't respond, anything like that. And then it leaves you in an emotional state where you're like, meh, right? So in awareness and getting new eyeballs on our stuff, starting out, there's so many different amazing organic methods, right? So if we're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, anything like that, we can create content that has a good formula to it, hook, story, going into a call to action, sometimes not a call to action, but, and it can go viral, or we can get a few hits on it, and then we're getting more awareness on our business organically. Or one of my favorite ways starting out, and with this, not enough people are tapping into this. Why do you think so many big names have podcasts? It's because they get around other high-level people and can have high-level conversations and bring that person's audience over to their own audience. One of my favorite organic methodologies. This is what helped me grow my Facebook group from 0 to 23,000 in less than 3 years, organically. Was a lot of interviews. I got to learn a lot from these people, and I got to partner with some of these people. And it started small, and then I started getting bigger and bigger and bigger names onto the podcasts and the Facebook Lives in the group, right? Amazing way. If you don't have an interview series set up, it's amazing. If we just focus on building our audience and building our network, we can never be poor. Like, everything is a relationship game, right? It's about building relationships. The people in our life are our life. We're the average of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with. So if we just focus on building our audience and building relationships and our network, can't ever be poor. Network giving us new ideas, possible partnerships, getting in front of other people. And then with our audience, then that is invisible ROI, which I didn't get that concept before I started in 2017. And then I read the book .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. He had a really simple concept. Name of the game with marketing is just taking traffic that you don't own and moving it to traffic that you do own. And then I got hyper obsessed of organically moving people to my Facebook group. And then while they were in my Facebook group, I could market to them. Market, if you want to use that word, post content in front of them, be top of mind, own their awareness, whatever you want to call it, over and over and over. So that's why I was able to make one post, make $50,000 in a day, right? Because I just got hyper obsessed of getting awareness and then moving it to the second stage of the value chain, which is lead generation. Boom. Getting new eyeballs on your list, right? So we want to take that awareness and move it to being on one of our lists. So I talked a little bit about the organic methodologies for that. With paid ads, what's working really well right now are DM ads. Putting a really simple lead magnet, 10-minute video with 3 steps, 5 steps is how you get to where you want to go without blank, blank, and blank. And then getting them into a DM conversation on a list, right? So that's a paid ad strategy to go from awareness to lead generation, right? So once they're on a list, we can market to them over and over and over and over. And the name of the game is moving traffic that you don't own to what? Where do we want to go? Traffic that we do own. Amazing, right? Is this making a little sense? Is this starting to sink in, simplify business for you guys a little bit more? Put a 1 in the chat if yes. Put a 2 in the chat if no. Cool. Love it. Cool. Lexus, amazing. Amy, awesome. Sweet. So we have them on a list, right? And we want to get them to a sales opportunity, right? So booking a call or closing through a funnel, right? So in sales opportunity, we want to nurture them to become a buyer, right? And present the sales opportunity. Ways that we can do that quickly would be a 5 to 20 minute VSL, video sales letter. Now, difficulty-wise, very difficult, right? To really nail down a really good video sales letter. 99.9999999% of people can't do it initially, simply because their messaging isn't dialed in, right? So what works really well at the beginning is something that's a little bit more flexible. And that's just having a community of people. Number one, you're seen as the authority inside of that community, and it's multiple touch points over time. Even Cole Gordon teaches this, where he's like, first step is community funnel, 0 to 200K per month, right? In agency, what you want to do is have a really simple ad to a simple VSL or webinar, and then get them into a community, right? Or get them into some sort of container where you can nurture them over and over and over. Their kind of first version for agency is develop a really good email follow-up sequence. So you've got those touch points over and over and over and over. And then a community works really freaking well, right? And with presenting the sales opportunities organically, what's working really well nowadays is live workshops. You see Talking More doing it, we're doing it, getting people onto a live workshop every 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and fixing a very specific issue in their life or their business, whatever you're selling, building desire for your offer, and then presenting the opportunity on that call, right? Once you're above 10K per month too, having a sales development rep or setter in place, somebody who's responsible for having conversations and taking somebody from new lead to sales opportunity, right? We have people on our team that are doing outbound dials, people that are DM setting, that sort of stuff. And that's one of your first points of leverage in your business, right? Cool. So, sales opportunity. Number 4 is sales conversion. Closing on sales calls. Creating new clients / customers. Right? So with the opportunity, we've got them on a sales call, or it's kind of a combination between the two. Maybe it's a low ticket purchase of $47, $97, and then you're converting through there. But then if you have higher ticket packages, programs, services, you want to increase your close percentage. What does that come through? Sales training, sales scripting, sales strategies. One thing that we need to get good at as business owners is influence and persuasion. So the first step is getting really good at sales. And at first it sucks a lot, and it hurts. And people aren't responding after sales calls, all that stuff, right? But it's one of the number one skill sets that we can build up in life is our influence and persuasion. The better we get at sales initially, the better leaders we are in our business, because we develop that influence and persuasion skill set, right? And sales conversion, with this, it's just about increasing your close percentage, right? Is this making sense? You guys with me? You following? You buying this? Okay, awesome. So step number 5, fulfillment. So here, how am I getting the client / customer the result in the most streamlined way, right? So with fulfillment, we have the 3 Ps. What are their current problems? what's the promise of the agency or coaching business service, and what's the process to ultimately get them there, right? So how can I simplify my fulfillment and be hyper specific on what my ideal client is facing and where they ultimately want to go, and create the most streamlined process to take them from where they're at to where they want to go, or the problems to the promise. I learned this from Frank Bria. He calls it the 3P methodology. Offer fulfillment just comes down to problem, promise, process, right? Just what are the current problems? What's the promise of ultimately where they want to go? And then what's the 3 to 5 step process to ultimately get them there, right? Cool. Got some people coming in. And then the last part of the value chain here, upsell, referral, testimonial. Boom. And you could also add recommitment here. Boom. This increases customer lifetime value, right? Or you can say creates a raving fan of the business who's willing to refer, join other things, that sort of stuff. So with upsell, referral, testimonial, you want to think, what are my processes for upsell, referral, testimonial? So an average client isn't $2,000 to me, it's $10,000. Then every new sale I get in, a customer is worth $10,000. So with that, if I just increase my customer lifetime value from 2,000 to 10,000, I've 5x'd my business, right? Profit too. And a lot of people are missing these processes in place to generate more upsells, referrals, and recommitments, right? So the question is, what do we do from here? Now that we know this, now that we know the 6 steps to the value chain, right? Well, we put on our CEO hat and we say, what's my bottleneck, right? This is a question that you ask yourself on a quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily basis. What is my bottleneck in my business right now? And where do I focus my time, energy, and resources to fix that bottleneck, right? So starting out, usually it's getting awareness and generating leads. And we just need to hyper focus on generating awareness and getting leads for 3 months and moving traffic that we don't own to traffic that we do own. So we're never poor again. We're building our audience, right? So getting really good at those organic and paid ad methodologies, right? Then when we're over 30K per month, start building a team, all of that stuff, then our bottleneck can shift and change. Let's say I launch a new program, I launch a new service. Cool, I've gotten the awareness, I got the lead generation, I got the sales opportunity, I got the sales conversion. Shit, fulfillment's on fire. Well, don't dabble with it. Go into a fulfillment season and hyper focus on streamlining those products and services. Or hire a client success manager like Lauren here to help you with the fulfillment. Because where I see a lot of people go through the income roller coaster as well is because they get thrown into fulfillment and totally lose sight of top of funnel and generating new awareness and lead generation and sales opportunities and sales conversion, right? So is that making sense? Are you guys with me? You following me on that? Okay, cool. Then hyper focus on that bottleneck. And what we do here to fix that, we need new inputs. So resources, new people to give us inputs. And then Then from there, what we need to do is create the system, process, and get the right person in place. So if we just put on the CEO hat and think through the business value chain and hyper focus on the system, people, processes to put in place to fix that bottleneck, from there, we can start working on our business instead of in our business. So this is the number one reason why I was able to sell my multiple 7-figure coaching business. You guys ready for it? All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're ready for it. Put 2 in the chat if no. Oh God, it's too much. Don't do it. Alexis, Lauren, Mark, amazing. So this is the number one reason. I replaced myself from the value chain. So awareness. And here's how I did it. Lead generation and sales opportunity. Hired a marketing manager. His name was Jimmy Rakowski. Amazing dude. Now writes copy, has his own copy agency, all of that stuff, generating a shit ton of money. But I hired a marketing manager, and I hired Jimmy when we were at about 150K in a month. That was 2019, I believe. And he took care of all the awareness, lead generation, sales opportunities, right? Creating the processes, implementing the projects, KPIs, all that stuff, right? Then I hired, let's see, sales conversion. Boom. I hired a sales manager, Marco Cortezi. So he managed our setters, managed our salespeople, and now he's the CEO of 7th Level. Amazing guy. Super interesting guy. So he's a German with a tongue ring, and you can barely hear him when he speaks, but he's the best closer I've ever met in my life. Like, he was closing at 72% on our 30K offer in 7-figure CEO. It was ridiculous. It was amazing. And that goes to the point of building up our persuasion and influence skills and having a vision for our business so we can attract A players onto our team so that we can work on our business, not in our business. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Cool. And then fulfillment. I hired a head of client success. His name was Avery Ford, is Avery Ford. Amazing dude. He helped create systems, processes, checked in with clients, new course content, all of that stuff, right? Got that off my plate. And upsell, referral, recommitment, I hired Brad Newman, who is our client success manager. Boom. So he was responsible for upsells, referrals, recommitments from our Authority Accelerator program to our 7-figure CEO program, right? So that's why my business was sellable and why I was working on my business, not in my business. And throughout that whole journey, since I learned this framework in 2018, I was able to develop this team over 3 years So ultimately I could be the CEO and not an employee in my business, right? Does that make sense? You guys with me there? Cool. Amazing. So from here, what is a system? A system is a collection of people, processes, tools, automations to drive a desired result. It's kind of how I define it. And when coaches are saying, oh, you get my system, it's like, that's not a system, that's a bunch of videos and a bunch of freaking Google documents, right? System is a collection of all these things. Especially when we're looking to scale past 100K, 200K, 300K. Like, it's about getting the right A team in place, and you should have somebody on your side helping you hire those A players, right? Because that is the most crucial part of the system, right? So this is essentially the parts of the business system minus offer, which I can get into that a little bit later on, Amy, which is like product market fit is the most important thing, right? I worked with Cole Gordon. We did his initial launch on sales training. He made $72,000. Then we tweaked things a little bit, and then the focus was on training teams, and then he made $274,000. And then after that, he tweaked his offer a little bit more to place setters and salespeople. Boom, product market fit back in 2020 was perfect. And then that's why he was able to scale into a $40 million sales agency. It started with that product market fit, right? And then it's about the value chain and how quickly can we build out systems and hire culture fits, right? So that's a system in a nutshell. We identify our bottleneck in our business. And from there, I'll give you an example. Let's say our big bottleneck is lead generation. Sweet. What is the simplest and most effective lead generation system I can put in place, right? And we have different levels to this as well. So number one, we have short term. Number two, we have long term, right? For lead gen, a long term would be something like YouTube. Takes time to ramp up, that sort of stuff. Short term may be posting in other groups, or if we have the capital to invest, short term, boom, paid ads, boom. And also short term, hot list / warm outreach. All different variations of systems that can be created and put into place. And there's so many more that we can add on top of this. But what is the simplest and most effective lead generation system or system in general I can put in place, right? To drive the result that we're going for in our business. And system, who is going to help me with this system? What resources am I going to find to build this system in the most streamlined and effective way? What processes am I using? What tools am I using? And this is a really powerful CEO, COO question. CEO, COO. Use this for the rest of your life. What can I delete, delegate, or automate? So number one, usually we're focused on something that's not important. So what can I delete out of here that's not important right now? Is there something that I have the capital to do and I can delegate and get off my plate? And are there certain parts of the system that can be automated through tools like GoHighLevel and Airtable and ManyChat? Really good tools for automation, right? Cool. Are you guys with me there? Those steps. Cool. And before we go into this, because we're at the perfect point to jump into Airtable and GoHighLevel and how to solve these bottlenecks and build out systems using these two tools, I'd love to get your takeaways so far. Pop them in the chat. What's the big thing that stuck out to you? And just to recap, what we started with were the four tiers: your vision drive your goals drive your planning drives your execution. Then we dove into the business value chain to simplify the crap out of business, identifying the bottleneck from the business value chain so that we can get new resources, new people, new input, and actually build out that system, the processes, get the person in place. And then how I was able to remove myself from the business value chain and sell my business, and then defined a system for you, the big bottleneck, and working backwards from there, and then the questions to ask when building a system, right? Cool. Plan and act, love it, yes. Planning is a lot like chopping down a tree with an axe. When we plan, we're sharpening that axe so we can chop down that tree faster. Most people are using very dull axes, not planning enough. Cool. Decide to hyper-focus on one part of the business value chain for 3 months. Yes, and sometimes it's just a quick fix. Oh, this thing's on fire. Maybe it takes a day or 7 days, right? And then just constantly thinking, what is the bottleneck in my business? Cool. Systems called the DEA process. Love it. Delegation filter, so helpful. Perfect. Love it. Okay. So from here, tools I recommend. Boom. Number one, Airtable. Operations, fulfillment, CEO dashboard. All right. GoHighLevel, marketing and sales. Really good tool for it. Slack, team and client communication. Boom. And don't forget our good old buddy ChatGPT. Idea creation. Cool. So, using Airtable and GHL to build a system out to fix a bottleneck in 90 minutes. Perfect. Number one, you need the right inputs. To get a result in life, we need skills, accountability, and mentorship. If we don't have mentorship, we're wasting time to get to our end destination in the fastest way possible, right? That's why so many people are talking about mentors. What changed my life in 2017, 2018, I started hiring coaches and mentors, right? They're able to help with the end destination, right? Accountability. We need people, groups of people in our life and individuals to hold us accountable to where we ultimately want to go. And skills, we need to have new inputs to create new skills outputs, right? So this can come from a mentor, coach, course, boom, YouTube videos, books, that sort of stuff. And it kind of goes to your point, Gabrielle, planning. Getting the right resources in place and having the right accountability and mentorship to get there to the fastest way possible, right? Cool. My bottleneck is lead generation. Tell me, coach, or tell me, mentor, how would you think about this? How would you fix this? Or going to YouTube, cool. What are the different lead generation strategies? Or what I did, I bought a shit ton of courses, coaching programs, masterminds, which helped me identify, oh, this is my bottleneck in business. Let me go straight to that course or that coaching program. Let me set up that system and get the mentorship and the accountability from that as well, right? So number 2, let's talk about lead generation. So let's say that we're creating a lead generation system. And for simple purposes and how I grew my business initially, now we have YouTube, we have ads, we have everything. But how I grew my business initially was from posting in other groups, sending friend requests. So what I know from there is I need the best content to post in other groups. And I also need a system around sending friend requests. And to take it further in the value chain, one thing might be, are there tools that I can automate this with, right? So what I would recommend from here is Airtable. It's the most customizable, flexible tool I've ever used. I've used Asana, I've used Monday, I've used ClickUp, and those are great project management tools, but they're not Airtable. Airtable is like putty. You can create anything you want out of it. And learning it, it sucks for the first 2 weeks. And then you're like, holy shit, I can build any system out of this Airtable tool, right? So what we can do is go into airtable.com. Boom. Hit create in the bottom left, start from scratch. Go to the workspace that you're working in. Boom. Now you have the base for your system. I just call this lead generation. Boom. And let's call this, boom, posts in groups. Perfect. And I can delete out of here. And the first thing that we need in this system is content to model that we can post, right? So what I might want from here is post link URL, some notes, boom, and a creator. Let's do single select. Cool. And maybe I want to add a status. Single select. Boom. New. Used. Not used. Boom. We can change colors on this. Turn blue. Move that to new. And then I can group by these different statuses. And one of my favorite tools is the Airtable web clipper. Boom, a form of automation, right? So I can go in here. I can go to, let's say, the ClickFunnels group. Boom. Source some content that I might want to pull from. Look through here, cool. Who has really good content and posting in other groups. This is a page. So I would go straight to, here we go. Let's see if I'm still in that group. Maybe I got kicked out, probably. So let me go to the Airtable group that my team posts in regularly. Let's say I'm looking for content here and looking for Andrew Cruzy. Cool. So let's say I want to model this post, got pretty good engagement. And what I'm going to do is set up this automation, which is one of my favorite productivity tools that I use on my financial OS, my business OS, my human OS, relationship OS. If you just adopt this one thing, it will speed up your productivity so much. If you just use Airtable, it will centralize everything for you, and you can pull anything you want over to your Airtable on the internet. So it's called the Airtable Web Clipper. And I go in here, add extension, web clipper. I hit add. Boom. Open extension. Just got to click up there. And then this is going to the posts and groups table. Add extension. Boom. It will pull the name, the link, the notes. I'll add the creator there. So then I pull this up to the top. Boom. And click out of that. And now when I'm on this post and click that, it will automatically add the title of the post, automatically add the link, and repurpose this to post in other groups. Perfect. Andrew Cruzy. And then this is the first part of our system. Boom. We can pull the content over to Airtable to model, right? And there are so many different automations that we can use inside of Airtable. And there are also Make integrations, Zapier integrations from Stripe, from Zapier, from GoHighLevel, from any system that you want to use this as your second brain and centralize everything inside of Airtable, right? So now we got that step of cool, we have content to model. Then we can hit the plus button and move it into content creation and create a content board, right? And creating version 1, once we get Airtable down, you can do it really fast, right? And then we have our system up for new lead generation. We got the content that we're modeling, we have the content that we're posting, and then we just need the system around and the processes around these things. So how we do that inside of our business and what we give our clients is our SOP system. Boom. So to delegate any SOP, any process, which is at the foundation of our business and our delegation skills, Loom is amazing. It will write the SOPs for you now. I just created this SOP this morning. It will write the objective, the key steps, cautionary notes, all that. And then I just use the Airtable Web Clipper, put it in here, delegate it to Maiko, and then send the SOP to Maiko. Boom. And now I've delegated it and got it off my plate. So now she can do it. Airtable Web Clipper, SOPs. The ultimate form of leverage is team members. And usually we have to do the process first, especially when we don't have brains on our team going to 0 to 100K. But we can create simple processes using Loom, be a document creation machine, and then you can easily delegate and get processes off your plate. All right. Cool. So, most systems can take less than 90 minutes using Airtable to create and fix bottlenecks. It's the most flexible tool I've ever used, especially using the Airtable web clipper. Now, GoHighLevel, what you guys want to do there is become a master at workflows, right? So there are funnels, there are workflows, there are you can text, email, all that stuff out of GoHighLevel. So this is kind of what it looks like. And it also has an app, so you can text, email, all of that stuff and send it out directly through GoHighLevel. If you're not using this tool, freaking use it. It's freaking amazing. That automation just sent out because Evan just booked a call. And boom, you can create any automation you want inside of GoHighLevel. Call confirmations after somebody opts in. I have hiring funnels and hiring automations in here. I have client fulfillment automations. As soon as somebody joins, pays us money, then they have a sequence of text messages and emails that go out so they get maximum support and love paying us money right off the bat, right? So with GoHighLevel, the big things are calendars, getting your calendars set up, setting up the workflows and automations after that, and then the funnels and websites, and then having a regular email sequence. And if you want all of that and know exactly how to do that, we can have a conversation around that as well. We have those inside of all of our programs. So awesome, guys. So are there any lingering questions you feel like I brought the value here for you on this 1 hour call? Mark, are you glad you stayed? Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool. Amazing. And Amy, I think we have a call coming up on offer creation, so that's perfect. And what I'll do now, guys, is drop the link in here so you guys can grab this doc. Awesome. Boom. Perfect. And then Lauren dropped a link to connect with her. Lauren is freaking amazing. She's been with us for the past 4 months, just super helpful, really good with offers and content, all that stuff. Cool. So feel free to hop off mute. What were your guys' #1 takeaways from today so you can retain the information? Cameron, good to see you're with us. Gabrielle. And I'll start with you, Chris.
You know, these Zoom meetings, it's like missing church. Don't miss them. This is awesome. I think, you know, an epiphany for me is time is what we most want and we use the worst. Holy crap, spot on there. And then make sure that that everything is by design, not by fault. And I think a lot of times I feel like by fault, I'm getting business, by fault, I'm getting clients. I have a good personality. I have charm. What I do actually works and helps people, but it's the systems in place and everything that you're teaching is what's going to create scalability. And I had the camera off and I brought my wife in and I'm like, you're going to have to watch this video call again. This is the roadmap, which I already have a roadmap, but this is great though. This is what it's all about. This is where the rubber meets the road. So every single one of these calls, there's tremendous value. So I'm really grateful to be here.
I love it, man. Dude, thanks for being here. And one thing that I want to share with you guys, because I was living my life by default 24/7 for most of my life. And the way that I was able to get out of that was consciousness over my own thoughts. And the way that I was able to get more consciousness over my own thoughts is by getting out of my amygdala, the fear portion of the brain, and intentionally moving to my prefrontal cortex. So how do we do that? We intentionally put ourselves in spots where we stop thinking. We get into those moments where, boom, absence of thought. You guys have experienced this, flow states, or you've gone to the gym for 20 minutes and then you're like, whoa, I'm in the moment. Or you've done a hard breath work or a long meditation and you're like, whoa, there are no thoughts going on right here, right? And it starts with us. It starts with the internal game. And just with everybody here, if you feel stuck or things are all over the place, like just get into those moments of hyper presence more often, right? For example, I was feeling that way at the end of the week last week, and my buddy booked in a telemezcal, if you guys know that. And we went to the middle of the Playa del Carmen jungle and sat in a hut for 3 hours and just sweated out all of our toxins while people were chanting and doing music. And there was nothing else I could focus on. If I let my mind run, then I would be like, this is so hot, I want to get out of here. But I had to keep getting back to the present moment and focusing on my breath. And that's one of the keys to putting space between our thoughts and living a more hyper-intentional life, is that if we can control our breath, we can control our thoughts. If we can control our thoughts, we can control our life. So that's why I'm such a big proponent of breath work, meditation, is because we can live our lives by design instead of by default when we can get back into the present moment, right? So I love that, dude. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Cool. And then I have time for 2 more, Mark and Amy. Start with Mark. Biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think it was, I'm currently doing a lot of lead generation. So that's where the interest was the most. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Amazing. Sweet. Thank you, Mark. And Amy?
Yes, I think for me, is what you just got done saying, Andrew, is like, I'm just living by default right now. I need to get things streamlined, which is funny because I can do it for my clients, but I'm struggling doing it for myself, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I've just got to that point. So just hearing you say that and go through some of that today was really like solidifying for me. And I think that goes back to the offer. I need to revamp my offer. So I know we'll get there, but this was really good session today. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Amy. Perfect. Sweet, guys. Well, this has been great. Thank you for being here. We do these every Thursday at the same time, same link. So I'll see you guys next week. See you guys.